Good morning, Eddie. You're on the air.
Hello, Paddy. How are you today?
Top shelf, man. You?
Oh, good. I can't complain one bit.
Good.
Paddy, I was calling on the report that just came out, the $500,000 report on that they put in for the cancer units across the province of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yep.
The report came out. The big winners, in my opinion, are the people in Western Newfoundland and Labrador. It confirmed what myself, Dwight Ball, and the Liberal Party have been saying, that the numbers are there, and the Action Committee, Gerald Parsons and Israel Han and that group, that the numbers are there, that the need is there, that the expertise can be obtained, and that there should be one unit in Cornerbrook. They're going to build space for two, but they're going to have one, and in probably 2025 that they'll need the second one. So I'm very pleased that finally that this now will be in the design of the new hospital, and it has been confirmed by this report that came out, because I think it's time that the people in Western Newfoundland, Labrador, Northern Peninsula, and people from Central has an option now that they can get certain treatment will be done at the new hospital in Cornerbrook. It's a great day for the people on the West Coast.
Well, it's only a great day if the recommendations are followed. Other than that, it might just be another political bombshell. Eddie, what about the... see, here's where the tricky part's going to come, because there's recommendations for 3 different regions, including St. John's, and this is where the old Townie versus Bayman stuff gets involved in the political conversation. The recommendations are clear for the enhanced radiation services and an additional LINAC machine in St. John's too. It's unlikely that we're going to be able to do it all, and certainly not going to be able to do it all in tight time frames. So how are we going to navigate that? Because healthcare becomes a political hot potato when I don't think we should treat it as such.
Well, Petty, in this case, it's a recommendation, but from my understanding now, because the government knew that this was going to be in this report, that it's already in the design for Western Newfoundland.
Yep.
And one of the extra machines that's going to be in St. John's, the unit, is going to be for a swing unit. So when they need to redo some unit, they can move this other unit, so will be no shutdown and no delay in services. And under the report, which we said, because we knew it happened across the province, and we knew it happened across Canada, we knew it happened around the world. We spoke to people all around the world on this when we were doing our research. Is that the healthcare in here, the cancer treatment in Cornwall will remain under the Eastern Health. They would administer it out here, so it will be part of theirs, but it would be a unit out in the Western Newfoundland, so it would really leave the pressures in St. John's, and it would save on the travel and save on, make sure people are closer to home, as easier follow-up for treatment, and being with your family, not have to travel, living away. So all this goes hand in hand, because in our research, and I know Dwight Ball and myself spoke to many specialists all across Canada, and this enhances the services in St. John's, and this hospital now, even in the report, there's misunderstanding there, because it says it won't start till 2019, the hospital. In actual fact, they won't start construction until 2016. So, and even Steve Kent said yesterday on one of your shows, I think it was on Backdock, that the construction
was on with me.
Yeah, it may not finish until 2021. So even then, there is now 5 or 6 years that we need to plan for this. So this is not something that you just say, okay, here's what we got to do. It's a planning stage, and now that it's going to be into the concept of the design of the hospitals, and now that you have 5 or 6 years to plan for this can be planned in orderly fashion, and I can go back to places across Canada, and I use even Nova Scotia when they had it, even PEI, Sault Ste. Marie, other places around. They did it in an orderly fashion, because it will take time. So the idea of having it all up front, this is a planning stage, and for this report, this just confirms, and I got to give Gerald Parsons them the credit also for sticking with me on this, and Dwight Ball for standing up and making this announcement over a year and a half ago.
Didn't the Tories make the announcement, Eddie? In all fairness, while we're trying to win political points, the government of the day, or the PCs, are the ones who are announced in the hospital. It might be 7 years overdue, but I mean, come on, right? Once again, I suggest that healthcare should be the furthest thing from partisan sniping ground, and then here we go again, right?
Betty, if I had to listen to that and give up the fight,
It's not about giving up. It's just about when it's won, you know, and it's only because you and Dwight or Steve or John or Jimmy or John or Jane did it. The fact remains, if we need radiation services in one nook or cranny of the province, we pay someone $500,000 to come up with a report. The hospital is being built. Hopefully it'll remain on schedule, even though that schedule is long overdue. I think we just go down this road in healthcare, and it betrays everybody. Healthcare is not a political hot potato. It is not a partisan win or lose. It's the people of the province and the provision of healthcare. That should be the conversation.
100%, and that's why at the beginning I said the winners of this year are people of Western Newfoundland and Labrador. But Paddy, I can tell you one thing: there's a lot of issues that came up with this year, and there's a lot of still going to go on with the hospital in Cornwall. And to give a bit of credit to Tom Marshall, and this is where, as you're saying, the political walked out of it. I walked over to Tom Marshall. Gerald Parsons did the same thing, and you can ask Gerald Parsons. Yeah. We gave him a name to call in Nova Scotia. Tom Marshall, to his credit, picked up the phone, phoned this person in Nova Scotia. He said, "Yes, Premier, it can be done." Tom Marshall was Premier. That's when he initiated this study.
There you go.
So this is how, and every bit of information myself and Dwight Ball had on this, we gave to Tom Marshall. Every bit of information about the radiotopes being transferred, about where were single units, Tom Marshall had it. Me and Dwight Ball walked over, and Tom Marshall, to this day, will say that we gave him every, and Tom Marshall at times, many times, worked with us on this here many times, and we gave him the information. Every time we asked a question, we said, "No, that's not correct," we walk over and hand it to Tom Marshall. Tom said, "My God, guys, that's not what I've been told. Here's the correct information." So this idea of working with other parties, you can, Dwight Ball work with Tom Marshall very closely on this here. I work very closely with Tom Marshall. Yep. Every time we get information, Tom Marshall had the information, because it wasn't about winning or losing. It was just the point of getting this radiation unit. And when we started out this year with the numbers that we had, and with other places across the world that did this here, we said, why not Corner Brook? And so we did work with the government. We absolutely worked, mainly Tom Marshall, because a lot of the other ones would list, but it was Tom Marshall who had a lot of the information. So I'm very proud that when this study came out, and every bit of information that myself and Dwight Ball, and which we passed on to Tom Marshall, said it should be here. The winners are people in Western Newfoundland and Labrador. Now what we got to do is, okay, government, you said it's going to start in 2016. Let's make sure it's going to start now. Let's see what's going to be into it.
Absolutely, that's right. And as I've said to you many times before, you fought the good fight on it, and the end result should always be, especially in healthcare and education, and I guess justice too, it should always be what's in the best interest of the people through careful consideration and debate. And Eddie, as everyone knows, you were a dog on a bone with that, and I offer that as a compliment, and I appreciate your time this morning.
And Paddy, thank you very much. And just a little shout out to the Action Committee, Israel Hand and Gerald Parsons, who stuck with it also. And then again, this study started when Tom Marshall realized that when he called Nova Scotia that there could be a single unit, and it was done before, and it is done across Canada. He said, we're doing a study to prove that it can be done in Corner Brook. So we did work together, very much so.
Appreciate your time this morning, Eddie. Well done.
And Paddy, thank you very much again.
Always my pleasure, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Eddie Joyce, Liberal member of the House for the Bay of Isles.